Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030, as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences, and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, is commemorated as World Theatre Day, which is celebrated every year on March 27th. Designed by the International Theatre Institute, ITA, in 1961, this day celebrates the essence, beauty, and importance of theatre arts, their significant role in entertainment, and the symbolic impact that has on life. This day also serves to inform governments, politicians, institutions, and stakeholders around the world who have not yet realized the value of theatre to the people and its potential for economic growth. Since ancient Greece, theatre has been a popular form of art and entertainment, thrilling its audiences and leaving them in awe. Not only does it entertain and educate, but theatre also combines various art forms to give its audience a real stage experience, which they can't find else. World Theatre Day is celebrated annually on March 27th, promoted by the ITI through its centers and supported by theatre communities all over the world. The day was initiated by ITI following President R.V. Kivima's June 1967 proposal at the 9th World Congress of ITI in Vienna on behalf of ITI's Finnish Center for a World Theatre Day to be instituted. The proposal was approved and supported by the Scandinavian centers of the ITI and publicized with enthusiasm. So the next year on March 27, 1962, World Theatre Day was celebrated by ITI centers. ITI cooperating members, theatre professionals, and theatre organizers. Today, the day is celebrated in the 90 plus ITI centers throughout the world. With theatre, universities, academies, schools, and theatres love all around the globe joining in the day observance. Different events are organized to mark World Theatre Day every year. A prominent feature of the annual events in the World Theatre Day, international message presented by famous art figure reflecting on the history of theatre and a culture of peace in today's world. The first World Theatre Day international message was written by the French poet and playwright Jean Cocteau in 1960. In 2021, the message of the World Theatre Day was authored by Helen Mirren, a multi-award winning British actress reputed for winning the Academy Award in 2007 for her performance in The Queen. Mostly these commemorations are from the West, so it has discriminated the East. In all the commemorations, we see only references from the West, and they completely ignored the references from the East. So we don't, they, especially in these commemorations, they don't have any reference to the Eastern countries or Eastern culture. Thepsis performs in Athens in 534 BC. Poet, tragedian, and author Thepsis arrives in Athens with his troops and performs in the marketplace. Rome's first stone theatre, Pompey the Great builds first permanent stone theatre in Rome in 55 BC. Widely regarded as world's oldest theatre in the world, the Teatro Olimpico in Vicenza, Italy, is inaugurated with a performance of Sophie's Oedipus the King in 1585, and for the first time, World Theatre Day is celebrated by ITI centers, ITI cooperating members, theatre professionals and organizations, theatre academies, and theatre lovers all over the world on March 27. If we see in India, it has been much more older than from the West. We can see street plays which are very famous in various art forms. We have seen theaters have been erected on the streets where street plays and performance art forms were taken up on the streets and the open grounds, and temporarily theaters were set up, and slowly, gradually, a permanent structures were there, which has a very long history of theaters in India. So this day is celebrated to raise awareness about the importance of theater arts and their importance in entertainment, and to highlight how they can be used to foster peace and economic development. ITI doesn't designate any specific theme for the World Theatre Day every year. Every year, the theme for the World Theatre Day is theatre and a culture of peace. ITA and theatre communities around the world organize special events to mark World Theatre Day on 27th every year. The celebrations are open to everyone around the world, from the theatre practitioners to the government institutions, ministries of cultures, arts, universities, and colleges, to theatre enthusiasts and fans who love the stage and appreciate its beauty. So pay a visit to your local theatre. They usually hold World Theatre Day events every year. You could support the ancient art form by buying tickets to see some of their performances, or donating to their affiliated organizations in the way of contribution. Though it is not mandatory, but at least on this day you can support in the way you can with a little contribution that motivates and encourages them as well as others. If you feel adventurous enough, you can even sign up for the theatre program to learn music and acting. Additionally, you can also make it a group activity by encouraging your friends to sign up too. Many of the celebrations happen at ITA centers and designated locations around the world, and the ITA encourages everyone celebrating this day to use their creativity for their promotion. You could search for theatre associations or organizations in your locality in advance and make plans to join the event in your community. Can't do any of the above? Then read here the World Theatre Day International message and share it on your online and offline media with hashtag #WorldTheatreDay, or attend any events like this which are commemorating and disseminating information on World Theatre Day. So young or old, regardless of gender, theatre is for everyone to enjoy. World Theatre Day is a great opportunity to get your children into the theatre. There are many shows for the to enjoy. The Lion King, The Tiger Who Came to Tea, the two-part Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, among others. In the West, and India has wonderful, lovely movies, especially for the children. They would definitely be thrilled, entertained, and also educated. So, widely accepted as the oldest theater in the world, the Teatro Olimpico, Olympic Theater in Vicenza, Italy, in the West, hosted its first performance in March 1585. Seating just 8 people, the Kremlov Theater in Austria is the world's smallest regularly operating theater. Running since 1988 with an estimated gross of $6 billion, The Phantom of the Opera is the longest running Broadway show in history, having been performed in 15 languages to over 140 million people in 35 countries and 166 cities around the world. New York is the first amongst the theater crazy cities in the world, boasting 420 theaters, topping Paris, which is 353 theaters, Tokyo with 230, and London with 214 theaters. Women acting in England up until 1660, when King Charles II ordered that all female roles should be played by women. It was illegal for women to act in England. Earlier, women roles were also played by men. But since later, women were playing women roles. According to the ITI, it promotes the beauty of theatre in all forms, one of the goals of the day, to make people aware of the value and beauty of theatre in all its forms. This is why the international theatre community plans performance, lectures, award presentations each year to promote the ancient craft of drama and music. World Theatre Day promotes us with an opportunity to celebrate the various forms of theatre and appreciate their significance in our society. Many of these forms of theatre have survived for centuries, while some has evolved into new ones over time, while some are more famous than others. All of these art forms are essential for education, entertainment, stimulation, and relaxation. For the ITA International Theatre Communities, World Theatre Day allows them to showcase many upskill potentials and prospectors in the field. It's a day to celebrate creative minds in the theatre and highlight their best efforts for the world to see. More importantly, it's a day to draw the attention of government officials, politicians, institutions, and opinion leaders to the value and importance of theatre in all its forms and advocate support for it. So, on this occasion, even if we are unable to, uh, visit a theater, at least watch some movies and support, watch some art forms and support World Theatre Day today. So, as already informed, World Theatre Day was initiated in 1981 by the International Theatre Institute (ITA). It is celebrated annually on the 27th March by ITA Centers and International Theatre community. Various national and international theatre events are organized to mark this occasion. So you may find one of them at your nearby locations. One of the most important of these is circulation of the World Theatre Day message, through which an invitation of ITA, a figure of world strategist, shares his or her reflections on the theme of the theatre and culture of peace. The first World Theatre message was written by John Cocteau in 1962. Ever since, each year, on the 27th March, date of the opening of the 1962 Theatre of Nations season in the Paris, World Theatre Day has been celebrated in many varied ways by ITA centers, of which there are now more than 90 throughout the world. Moreover, theaters, theater professionals, theater lovers, theater universities, academies, and schools celebrates it as well. So each year, an outstanding figure in theater or a person outstanding in heart and spirit from another field is invited to share his or her reflections on theater and international harmony. What is known as the international message is translated into more than 50 languages, read for tens of thousands of spectators before performance in theaters throughout the world, and printed in hundreds of daily newspapers. Colleagues in audiovisual field lend a fraternity hand, and with more than 100 radio and television stations transmitting the message to listeners in all corners of the five continents. So now, of course, in India, there is no official event registered like many other events, collaborations or commemorations. How we can celebrate, because these are of all Western from Western countries, and they do not, commemorate, have any aspect in the Eastern or Eastern culture or Eastern. They, as they have neglected, even the other part have neglected. So similarly, this kind of, when it is promoted, we universally the such things, commemorations or celebrations shall be, when we don't consider others' point of view, others' perspective, others' culture, we'll be alienated. That is the main problem we face. The kind of hate speech that all happens because of this, considering your own culture or your own this thing, your own religion or your own philosophy or your own kind of notion only correct and others as wrong, is always the root cause for the hate speech, jealous, and all kind of things. But that is, these are all created by human beings, in fact. And we all need to be very conscious about these aspects, that these are all not universal in nature. Even without this, human beings can happily live. But we are more dwindled in the name of God or in the name of some fear. in the name of Satan or in the name of sin. All kind of fear is you know um, inculcated in the minds of people, and a hatred is also promoted. Maybe these kind of peace, when because we are talking about of peace, where these kind of any philosophy for that matter, it may be religion, it may be belief system, or it may be a propaganda that is trying to create divisions in the society, should be very well portrayed, and through these art forms and theater forms, we can educate people to bring on more peace, and to educate that these all are created by humans for keeping society divided. But in true sense, universal humanity is what prevails. We all are human beings and we need to help each other. Then only the peace is possible. As long as you are constructing walls and boundaries between each other in the name of religion, in the name of belief system, in the name of philosophies, there will be no peace, because as long as you try to differentiate, you try to discriminate, there is no point of talking about peace. Even if you are talking about a peace, that is at a surface level. Behind hatred and jealousy and discrimination is deep rooted in your hearts, and you are just acting, putting a face of peace, and saying that you are the peace ambassador, but in fact you are the ones who are the culprit, who are the person behind promoting hatred, jealousy, and war between among the people and communities. So uh, this is a right day, where you can put the same mask or remove that mask and show people what exactly the truth is. And we all, as a human beings, we need to upheld humanity and protect human rights and stop discrimination, even in the race of color, gender, religion, belief system, philosophy, or anything that comes in between. So, this theater and art forms is a very good opportunity for us to, portray all these things and create awareness. As the celebration is open to everyone can celebrate. See, there is even these days are commemorations for everyone. But who is going to celebrate? Who has that much time? And today the world has become, and the people have become like so much involved in that self-centered, that unless and until you don't get any benefit, and unless and until it brings you some name and huge publicity, you don't take it up, unfortunately. But that is not what it has to be. So similarly, no one celebrates or commemorates because no one has such time, no one has such resources, no one has such funds also. At the end of the day, you need some amount of funds that required to organize. Now, who is going to pay for that? Now, when this is not related to your culture, and why someone from somewhere will pick it up and commemorate? These all things, and even if someone is doing and you are not collaborating and you are not supporting and you are not, extending your hand at least, that itself will convey wrong meaning that, you are still discriminating. So these kind of things especially can be very well portrayed in the form of films, movies, dramas, theater arts, and so on. So why we are talking is the celebrations or commemorations of such events when we are happening. So this is a very right day where we can portray through movies, films, documentaries, and so on. So as the members are driving force behind the celebration of the World Theatre Day ITA centers in their country or origin, a celebration of the day itself around it can be organized and promoted by anyone and everyone. That's what even we are doing, at least creating some awareness, whether it is we are doing it on a good sense. Maybe people, some other might do in a bad sense or in their own agenda, or they might be also doing in a good sense. So every possibility is there. So at least we are bringing out awareness, and we are also giving what the pros and cons of any particular event or commemoration. At least we are concentrating on the positive, constructive, productive side of the commemoration and taking good from every day, every commemoration, or every celebration. So, a celebration of the day itself or around it can be organized or promoted by anyone and everyone. Theater, theater and dance institutions, theater and performing arts, universities, government institutions, Ministry of Culture, theater and dance makers, and theater and dance lovers all over the world are invited to celebrate World Theater Day. No, even today and tomorrow, Usmania University is also organizing National Short Film Festival, and today, on occasion of World Theatre Day, and also the as part of National Film Short Film Festival, a film was also aired, Sheesh Mahal, which also that movie is around children's festival based on the theme Children Festival, and it portrays. It's a kind of documentary. It portrays, the kind of coverage of film festival. So similarly, and it was open for all the university for free, and others whoever attend and have been fixed a small charge so that they also have that feeling of contribution, and at the same time it can raise some funds for the organizing the event. Similarly, various places also organize in different ways. So ITA recommended that individuals or institutions who want to celebrate a day to coordinate with the ITA center or cooperating member in their country or region, and the list of member addresses are available online, or when you contact ITA offices. And due to multimedia of languages and multitude of languages that exist all over the world, and because message should be understood by the people in a country or region, the message of the World Theatre Day is always translated in country's language or languages, and the same goes for the short biography of the author. The translations are sent to General Secretariat of ITA for publication on the website, as soon as the message is publicly released so that they can be used by all. So there are many such ways where we can promote, but due to paucity of time, we will not get into detail. Maybe we can have one webinar or exclusive dedicated to this event, because we can talk so much about it. Okay, then we'll move on to other commemorations of the day. We have Whole Grain Sampling Day, which is commemorated in US. Here, Whole Grain Sampling Day is celebrated on the last Wednesday of March yearly. And this year it falls on March 27th, and it is a great way to end Nutrition Month, as it is held to encourage people to add whole grains to their diet because of their numerous health benefits. Whole grains are enriched with nutrients such as protein, fiber, B vitamins, trace minerals, copper, zinc, iron, and magnesium, and antioxidants. A whole grain rich diet has been shown to reduce the risk of heart diseases, type 2 diabetes, obesity, and some forms of cancer. It is sometimes something that should be added to every diet, as it can do wonders for the body. Whole Grain Sampling Day is spearheaded by the Old Ways Whole Grains Council, based on the United States, to celebrate whole grains. Whole grains contain all the essential parts and naturally occurring nutrients of the entire grain seed. If the grain has been processed in any way, the product should deliver approximately same rich balance of nutrients that are found in the original grain seed. But generally, after processing, the grains tend to lose some of its essential nutrients or essential parts. Like when we polish rice, the upper part of the layer is lost, which is very much useful. So the Whole Grains Council which was founded in April 2002 by a group of millers, manufacturers, scientists, and chefs at the Whole Grain Summit, organized by Old Ways Preservation Trust in San Diego. They took strides to grow the organization, including finding ways to promote increased consumption of the whole grains, and they had their first formal meeting in July 2003, where they outlined goals of the organization. Since its first meeting, the Whole Grains Council has grown from 9 members to almost 400 members, including many industry leaders, and has had celebrations of Whole Grain Sampling Day ever since. Most years, grocery stores, restaurants, schools, health centers, universities, food banks, and community centers around the country participate in whole grain sampling day by offering the sampling events, workshops, and other fun activities that day. The initiative for the whole grain sampling day is formed in 2002, and the Whole Grains Council has its formal meeting in 2003, and Whole Grain Sampling Day is celebrated for the first time in 2012. The WGC grains its 13,000th product, and its stamp reaches more than 60 countries, which is a milestone achievement in 2019. As with all foods, they don't cause weight gain unless you consume too much many calories from them. Anything that is too much is always injurious to health or harmful to health. Even if you consume too much of anything, for that matter, even if that is good, you should always take in limited quantities. 5 to 8 ounces of grain should be eaten daily, and 3 to 6 ounces of them should be whole grains. As they digest more slowly than refined grains and are beneficial to the blood, as it keeps blood sugar and insulin levels down, especially those people with diabetes and sugar. For them, these are very much essential because they digest slowly, and the glucose that is released is also slowly released into the blood. So that's why, their sugar levels don't increase, and gradually, with less consumption, they can keep their sugar and diabetes levels under control. We'll resume in a minute. Now, you can celebrate this day by taking up lessons. You can be surprised by the number of delicious meals you can make from whole grains. Prepare a meal with whole grains to celebrate the day, and you can invite others to join in for the feast. More than 2.5 billion tons grains are produced in mass numbers in almost every continent in the world, with more than 2.5 billions produced yearly. Corn is massively produced in, and America is the biggest producer, followed by China, Brazil, Mexico, and France, which is the most produced grain in the world. The cultivation of barley dates back as far as 10,000 years ago, and which is one of the oldest grains. Wild rice isn't rice at all, actually. It is a seed of aquatic grass and is not related to rice, as it's a common myth that misconception that wild rice is rice. Maize is a Native American word, but not used in America and Canada as they call it corn. Now, what's better than food? Free food. Some stores offer sampling tests so that people can get to enjoy some free food if they search for it. Seeing other people interested in whole grain sampling, they gives you as a sense of belonging. You automatically share a bond, especially if you participate in an event together. Even at least if you can't physically attend, any events like this will help you, to foster or to be part of the celebrations or commemorations. So it is a world of full of food and food enthusiasts, and full of food that can sometimes be bad for one health, especially junk food. Lot of junk food, salty food, preserved foods, and carbohydrated foods and drinks, especially these highly fat foods. All these are, not good for health. Whole grain sampling day promotes healthy, good food. These foods should be consumed more as they have a lot of benefits. Today is also commemorated as Scribble Day. It's all about celebrating the creativity and the art associated with scribbling, which anyone can do regardless of their artistic abilities. We might all remember, we all started scribbling. Our writing or our learning started with holding a pen or a pencil or, the kind of what chalk, and started scribbling. So the last time you scribbled aimlessly to relieve boredom, or you might have probably not known that there is an actually day to celebrate the stress releasing act of scribbling. It is good for your mental health as well, along with your physical health. Scribbling is sometimes referred to as doodling, and the term are often used interchangeably. But there is a slight underlying difference between both acts and origin of these words. The word scribble can be traced back to the Latin scribere, which actually means to write. To scribble is to write letters or words hastily, often in an illegible manner. Doodle, on the other hand, refers to drawing or amateur art. Etymologically, the word doodle is derived from the German Judeltopf or Judeldorf, meaning simpleton. So think of these terms as follows. When students are under pressure, they scribble on their notebooks, whereas students who are bored and daydreaming in class make doodles. So hope you got the difference. The history of International Scribble Day itself does not go too far back, as the day was recently founded by Danny Alba, author of I Am Not Just a Scribble in 2019. The book is about kindness and acceptance demonstrated by a cute character, Scribble, and encourages children to create art no matter their ability. Dan made a Facebook post about her idea of initiating a National Scribble Day and got some very positive responses from teachers, so she went ahead with it. The day is usually celebrated in schools where children gather for different activities to create their own scribble. The character from the book, International Scribble Day, encourages practice of scribbling because, after all, every artist started with a scribble. So, as already mentioned, scribbling means to draw or write carelessly with or without any meaning to it, but often as a surprising incidental discovery, we can also see some art form in it. And when you scribble, that's the fun about it. You can let your imagination as loose as you like. You can doodle with different shapes and lines or a combination of both. You can doodle faces and different expressions, almost anything that you like. Now, planning to doodle or scribble, you can start with a pen or a pencil or a piece of paper, or you can get a scribble starter pack and download activity sheets from online or Dan Albert's website or from anywhere on the internet, and try yourself starting today on this scribble day. Bring out the crayons, markers, and other art supplies and create your own scribbles. For added fun, engage your family, children too, and neighbors, and turn it into a competition. That can be a good uh, event with all ages. You can host your Scribble Day activities online or offline in schools, colleges, in your neighborhood community, and have fun naming your scribbles also. That is also a great way to enjoy this day. Turn your final scribbles into a game of who's who. That will be more interesting. So doodling helps to recollect information hidden within our subconscious, allows to recall information. Doodling acts as an excuse for the brain and helps with the engagement and processing of complicated thoughts and ideas. Scribbling, a drawing, relieves stress, helps get through the stress induced by work, school, or the general pressures of life, day-to-day course. Doodling about the content in a lecture or a meeting gives the brain a way to remember and understand information visually. That's why, we all are encouraged to take down notes or take down important words or, keywords so that it is easy for us to remember. Doodling about the content in a lecture or meeting gives the brain a way to remember and understand information visually. We also make trees or charts or flow charts. Allowing the brain to take breath is important. Doodling relaxes the brain and helps ease the nerves, relaxes the brain. And as it inspires creativity and innovation and novelty, International Scribble Day is all about celebrating the creativity and the art associated with scribbling. It encourages the creation of art regardless of artistic abilities. The celebration of International Scribble Day reiterates the fact doodling is not a distraction as it commonly thought to be. In fact, it improves cognitive function. So, an idea of day to come together and share all the amazing scribble art can be super fun. This can be a wonderful day to make some global connections with others. Day is also commemorated as National Spanish Paella Day in US, which is also a national dish of Spain. Paella originated as many traditional dishes do as peasant food, a lunchtime rice dish prepared by the workers in the field over an open fire. It celebrates a food filled with tradition, always cooked in a round, flat bottomed pan with handles. The dish most likely takes its name from the Latin term patella, a flat plate on which offerings are made to the gods. The open flame is essential as it creates the layer of toasted rice at the bottom of the pan that is essential and unique to palate and making it delicious. So a special skill or cooking technique is required or used for a dish to be called pella. So besides using a short grain, pearl-like rice, pella must be cooked in traditional shallow, flat-bottomed pan. The ingredients once added should not be disturbed, allowing delicacy known as sokarat or crispy bottom rice layer to form. Though they have this kind of pella is available both in vegetarian and non-vegetarian cuisines. The choice of ingredients is entirely your choice. So grab a pella pan and experiment. Try going vegan. Today is also commemorated as National Medical Science Liaison Awareness and Appreciation Day in US. We see, you know, all medical science liaisons from all across the world should be recognized on the special day. Medical science liaisons are medical professionals generally linked with the medical affairs department of pharmaceutical and technological corporations. The majority of them have an extensive background in science and academic credentials, with the majority holding a doctorate in their biological sciences. Initially established by Upjohn Pharmaceuticals in 1967 in response to the need for scientifically trained field personnel who would be able to establish rapport with key opinion leaders in a variety of therapeutic areas of research, medical science liaisons have grown to become a global organization. Upjohn Pharmaceuticals required field personnel to create ties with prominent medical practitioners to have more meaningful discussions with these external specialists as well as other healthcare providers and other stakeholders. The corporation then recognized sales representatives with significant scientific understanding and the ability to deliver a high level of clinical and educational skills to the medical professionals with whom they are interacting as potential sales representatives. Over the years, medical science labs and terms gained popularity among pharmaceutical corporations due to their effectiveness. So during the 1990s, as the size of commercial sales forces grew, the number of medical scientific labs and teams grew at a modest and constant pace. Continued development and growth of the field medical programs are necessary due to technological advancements, consolidation of decision making, and increasing sophistication of healthcare decisions. So even though Upjohn originally referred to as position as medical sciences license, over years into the present, companies have used a variety of names for the position, including medical liaisons, medical managers, regional scientific managers, clinical liaisons, and scientific affairs managers, to name a few. A minimum of a master's degree in a medical or scientific subject is required for a medical science license post. However, the majority of role requires a PhD or MD. Many enter the sector with a strong background in nursing and focus on certain therapeutic area. People who want to work in this sector need to have a solid academic background in science as well as great interpersonal communication and listening skills. Medical science liaisons collaborate with a wide range of healthcare and technology business, including pharmaceutical and biotechnological corporations, as well as other healthcare related organizations and institutions. The field of medical science liaison is expanding rapidly. All around the world, growth is expected to continue as the desire for new therapeutic options grows. You can tell the story of how you got into medical science. This is an important as it also creates awareness of the profession and can help you guide more people as they can get into it. If, as a patient, you are having issues with continuity of care or treatment itself, you can speak to a medical science liaison. This will benefit others immensely and you will be able to get better care for yourself. Oncology, cardiology, hematology, surgery, pulmonary are the major fields for medical science license. Oncology deals with the study of cancer, and doctors specialize in the management and treatment of cancer patients throughout the disease. Cardiology, they plan and assist development, production, and promotion of products strategically by exchanging scientific information, soliciting external opinions from experts related to heart and system. Hematology, this deals with the study and treatment of blood. They maintain a trustworthy and ethical relationship with key opinion leaders, guaranteeing that they have unprecedented access to scientific and medical information. Surgery, they create, nurture, and sustain peer to peer relationships with renowned physicians at prominent academic institutions and hospitals. Pulmonary relates to the lungs and is important for the medical science license. It aids in research, they support the research process and act as a scientific resources for the experts in a variety of fields of study by supporting them with their research projects. They are integral to several fields of study and provide an immense contribution to those fields. Having an official day dedicated to the medical science license allows the profession to be recognized and the value of the profession around the world to be raised. The importance of their function to the success of the firms in which they work has never been greater than it is today. Medical science liaison helps in bringing important and beneficial information about the products of particular company. They are also integral in obtaining difficult resources. Today is also commemorated as National Governance Professionals Day in Canada, and Governance Professionals of Canada is proud to announce the launch of inaugural National Governance Professional Day, which is celebrated annually on last Wednesday of March. This initiative created by the Governance Professionals of Canada, which will serve as an opportunity to recognize and celebrate the role of governance professionals across all organizations in Canada. The inaugural National Governance Professionals Days will take place on March 27, 2023, in collaboration with the Institute of Governance. So you might get a doubt, who are these governance professionals? So they may be the corporate secretary or corporate counsel, executive director, or have other titles, and they are responsible for implementing governance policies and procedures, monitoring compliance with laws and regulations, managing the board and its committees meeting and processes. Among other key activities, they plays a crucial role in ensuring that an organization is operating in an efficient, ethical, and compliant manner, and they ensure that the organization is following leading governance practices to protect it from potential risks. Their role is vital to the long-term success of the organization and its reputation. Governance professionals play a crucial role in the success of their organizations, and National Governance Professionals Day is a chance to acknowledge the hard work and dedication of these individuals. Said Lynn Begard, president of CPC, we are excited to launch this initiative to grow the recognition for the role and value it brings to the boards and organizations in Canada. So CPC will also hold its annual Excellence in Governance Award showcase on the same day, celebrate the winners and shortlisted organizations in it 2000, uh, which was in the previous 2022 award ceremony, and every year, even this year as well in 2024. Leading up to the event, CPC will feature activities on social media platforms to celebrate the contributions of governance professionals and to encourage all organizations to join in recognizing the important work that the governance professionals play for their organizations. Today is also commemorated as National Acoustic Soul Day in US. This is a day to recognize the life achievements and career of India Airy, an American singer and songwriter who debuted a successful studio album, Acoustic Soul. Her career has included 10 world tours, 5 top 10 albums, numerous BET Awards, NAACP Image Awards, MTV Awards, 22 Grammy nominations, 4 of which she won, performances for 3 US presidents, and numerous collaborations with entertainment industry tastemakers. Today is an opportunity to show appreciation for her dedication, accomplishments, and service throughout her career. India Ari is a singer songwriter from Denver, Colorado. Her parents are Joyce and Ralph Simpson, who encouraged her music skills in her younger years. Her mother was a Motown music artist who had an opening form for Stevie Wonder and A.I. Green. When she was a India's mother is now her stylist. Ari is African American and descends from the Mendi people of Sierra Leone, the Kru people of Liberia, and Fulu people of Guinea-Bissau. When India was 13, her parents divorced and her mother moved the family to Atlanta, Georgia. Her schooling in Denver helped her achieve success in her musical instruments, and passion for guitar led to personal discovery about songwriting and performing. She told the press that she got a direct result from writing songs as she started tapping into her own sensitivity and she began to understand people better. So India's most famous album is her debut album, Acoustic Soul, released on March 27, 2001. The album pursued positive comments and achieved commercial success. Acoustic Soul debuted at 10 on the Billboard 200 and 3 on the top of R&B hip hop albums chart in the US. It only took a few months for Acoustic Soul to be certified double platinum by the Recording Industry of America, Association of America. It sold 2 crores 18 lakh copies. Sorry, 21 lakhs 80,000 copies in the US and 3 lakh copies worldwide. So it has received a global certification from the British phonographic industry and platinum by Music Canada. Acoustic Soul was a hit in that era. So you might be wondering what is the characteristics of acoustic. Its main characteristics is using instruments that require no electricity, making it generally a quieter and more relaxing genre. Acoustic instruments can generate sound without the need for electricity, amplifiers, or computers. It is produced by force to make an instrument vibrate. Acoustic music consists of songs created especially for acoustic instruments. Meanwhile, normal songs are the ones that are recorded based on the original composition. If you have never listened to Eri, now it's chance to do so. You can search for her on Spotify and start enjoying her beautiful music. Acoustic music is characterized by the sound of guitars. This day could be an opportunity to take a guitar lesson and try something new. Check on the internet when Ari is going to hold her next concert and make sure you have ticket. Nothing compares to listening it to music live. And Ari's meaningful lyrics. I am not the average girl from your video, and I ain't built like a supermodel, but I learned to love myself unconditionally because I am a queen. Is one of her lyrics that depicts self-acceptance. One of our Aries songs, titled I Am Not My Hair, is about her origin as an American African woman. She celebrates her roots in a song. She made the music political in July 2017. India Airi released a single called Breathe as a tribute to Black Lives Matter movement. Acoustic music is good for concentration. It allows the brain to unwind, which can help with concentration. It is very helpful for people who have demanding jobs and are emotionally exhausted. Music is very important for our mental health. It can help you relax, change your mood, sleep, or even give you energy. Songwriters give us important messages through music. They are messages about discrimination, love, hate, etc. Today is also commemorated as Myanmar Armed Forces Day in Myanmar, locally known as Tamadwa Day, Tamad Tatmadwa name. It honors the people of Myanmar who rose against the Japanese during World War II. Armed forces in Myanmar memorializes the army's resistance to the Japanese occupation of the country in 1945. Every year, the event is observed in the country's capital city, Naypyidaw. Sorry, these names are a little bit name Nepidia or Neptia, however it is pronounced, and is marked by a variety of celebrations, and the most notable of which military parade and displays by Myanmar Armed Forces. And today is another exciting appreciation day, that is Manatee Appreciation Day. We celebrate Manatee's Appreciation Day on the last Wednesday of March and March 27th this year to raise awareness of the endangered sea cows who are quickly falling victim to pollution, global warming, and hunting. And it weighs as much as 1,200 pounds, but survive on seagrass alone. And they have no natural enemy except humans. Unfortunately, humans have been natural enemies for entire species on the planet. The day is celebrated to appreciate, learn more about, and protect these bloated beanbag look-alikes from deadly human activities. So these harmless, gentle giants of the sea are closely related to elephants. With their egg-shaped heads and flat tail, they are 10 to 13 feet high in length, weigh almost 1300 pounds, and despite looking bulky, can move or swim very quickly if necessary. You can find them in slow rivers, saltwater bays, estuaries, canals, and other coastal areas, spending their lives either sleeping, eating, or traveling. They don't have a care in the world and only need a surface occasionally to replenish their oxygen. So it's quite unfortunate that manatees have become endangered in recent years, mainly due to their loss of habitats. Comprising only three distinct species worldwide: West African, Amazonian, and West Indian, the aquatic animals regularly fall victim to poaching for their meat, the destruction of waterways, and careless collision with ships. New developments cause their natural nesting areas to be destroyed, contaminate the water with toxic sewage, manure, and fertilizers, and cause algal blooms. Manatees often fatally collide with boats and ships in shallow waters where they need to live to feed on the seagrass, their only food resource. Manatee Appreciation Day was birthed by the world's leading manatee conservation organization, Save the Manatee Club, founded in the year 1981 by the songwriter Jimmy Buffett and former US Senator Bob Graham. The organization works to protect the manatee and its habitat. It's founded this day to back its mission of rescuing the slow moving sea cows from thoughtless, deadly human activities. The oldest manatee on July 21, 1948, Snooty is born at the Miami Aquarium and Tackle Company and dies 69 years later, 2 days after his birthday. The Florida manatee is enlisted under the Endangered Species Preservation Act of 1966 for the first time in 1967. Cincinnati Zoo's manatees facility releases more than a dozen manatee in 1999 manatee rehabilitation attempt. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service downgrades the West African manatee status from endangered to threatened in 2017. On an average, this manatee can live as long as 60 years and often more, is the lifespan of the manatee. They are harmless, peaceful animals who pose no danger and are happy to be around humans. And they are friendly to humans. As per Florida Manatee Sanctuary Act, it is illegal to harass, disturb, play with, or even hug a manatee as the animal has been enlisted vulnerable. So let them flourish. Let them not disturb their peace and harm. So you can visit the manatee in Orlando. If you are living in Orlando, go out and visit the Florida manatee at SeaWorld or Blue Spring State Park. Consider recording a video of these sea cows as they come out and make a memory. Support the cause of this day by uploading news about their endangered status, the causes of this, the simple facts with the hashtag Save the Manatee or Manatee Appreciation Day. While you can only appreciate the animal from afar, some conservation organizations and clubs are tirelessly working hands on for the cause. Do you part and donate as much as you can so that you can escalate their efforts? So the size of the lungs in two-thirds of their entire body with a capacity of up to 90% to replenish oxygen. They have massive lungs. They survive on seagrass and spend 8 hours grazing every day to support their weight and by eating a lot. There is always a new set of teeth growing behind the existing ones inside a manatee's mouth, and they continuously replace teeth. Their mouth is only to chew on seagrass, not for breathing, and they have a good hearing, despite no apparent ear structure. They breathe through their nose and hear with invisible ears. Long before they were known as manatees, explorers and sailors throughout the thought the creatures were mermaids. Childhood stories and movies have made all of us yearn for the creature that has two hands and a fish-like tail. A manatee comes closest to this, and we would never want them to go extinct, as they are the closest thing we have to mermaids. One would think they would be lazy as anything given the weight they have to be support. Not at all. If you haven't watched a manatee amusing herself, rolling in the water and making you go ow, and you are missing out on the beautiful sight. And they are surprisingly playful. The female manatee remains pregnant for 12 months, a whole year, and takes care of our calf for several years, just like human mother. It's outrageous to kill so many years of love and nourishment. They are dedicated mothers, so please take care of them. Today is also commemorated as Quirky Country Music Song Titles Day in US, established to recognize the unique titles of the songs that are available. There are numerous quirky country music song titles available. Therefore, a special day in the calendar was established to honor them. While the lyrics to country music have been maybe humorous, it's not always obvious from the titles. But today is all about those titles that makes you pause and laugh as well as wonder what was going throughout the singer's head when they named the song. Today is also commemorated as Little Red Wagon Day in US. Little Red Wagon Day is a token of appreciation for those cheerful, airy rides in a little red car pulled by moms or dads on a summer afternoon. If you have sailed in a red wagon on Independence Day parades or were pushed in a toy red van in your childhood, it's time to relive those memories and take some. So today is also commemorated as Celebrate Exchange Day. The day marks the anniversary of the founding of the first ever local exchange club in 1911 in Detroit, Michigan. The day aims to celebrate over a century worth of service that the National Exchange Club has tirelessly provided to communities across the country. The National Exchange Club currently operates throughout the United States and Puerto Rico and has over 18,000 members. The organization functions on its belief in three core values: family, community, and country, and strives to improve community health by attempting to systematically address problems like child abuse. Today is also commemorated as American Red Cross Giving Day in US. Is an opportunity for people to come together and support and help the urgent humanitarian needs of the American Red Cross. The American Red Cross was created to help whoever was in need without any discrimination. The organization was created to provide support and assistance to the wounded on the battlefield and endeavors both nationally and internationally to prevent and alleviate suffering where it is found. So this week is commemorated as Autism Acceptance Week, which is celebrated from March 27 to April 2. April 2nd, Autism Acceptance Week is held during the week coinciding the Autism Acceptance Day. This year it takes place from to an autism that is autism spectrum disorder, ASD affects mental, behavioral, and social development. The degree to which autism impacts individual is a unique to them since each person's circumstances are unique. Symptoms appear as early as the first 12 months of life and can last throughout life. Many people with autism can leave their symptoms and quality of life improved over time due to strong support networks and coping mechanisms and routines that work for them. Autism Acceptance Week first started as a Autism Awareness Week back in 2007 when it was first held, that was in conjunction with the first World Autism Acceptance Day, which fell on April 2nd. It happened in a time of great need for awareness of autism and what it means before autism became and understood and recognized that it is today. Many misconceptions surrounded it when the autism was the first coined as medical term in 1911 by Paul Egan Bleuel. It was used in reference to what was believed to be childhood or an infantile version of schizophrenia. Over the years, our understanding grew deeper as medical professionals realized that autism was a neurodevelopmental condition that was completely separate from schizophrenia. Everyone needed to know what they were on the spectrum or not. After more than a decade, efforts focused on increasing awareness and education. There has been a recent shift towards focusing on acceptance and equally regarding autism. Therefore, the name has recently changed a better reflect this agenda. The week is a global chance to raise awareness of autism and fundraise for the charities that support the cause. More importantly, the week is spent advocating for the acceptance of autism and those who fall in the spectrum. Fundraisers, seminars, and supportive displays are common ways people to keep the spirit of the week. So, German scientist Egan Bleuler first coins the term autism when describing symptom of schizophrenia in 1911. Research on autism as a condition begins in 1940. Autism is entered into the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM, recognizing it as a legitimate condition in 1980. The DSM-5 is launched, combining the subcategories of autism into one diagnostic entity that makes use of spectrum instead of categories in 2013, and it becomes the autism spectrum disorder. ASD is rooted in genetics, which is why it can run in families and can be passed down to descendants. ASD is not in any way caused by bad parenting. That hypothesis was disproved several years ago. Parents, teachers, or a community that does not understand ASD have been known to exacerbate symptoms of ASD. So people with autism are still there after week concludes, making an everyday effort, however small, to understand people who think and live differently from you. Take this opportunity to attend one of the many talks hosted by autism-based organizations during this week, or even learn on your own. Understanding autism and autistic people go a long way toward making a difference. Take part in an online or in-person fundraising event like a quiz or marathon and help to raise funds for your local organization that seeks to support or research autism. Your support can be as simple as taking part in event or volunteering to help run it. One family member treatment for autism can cost $60,000 a year, but it has been known to decrease if the person is diagnosed and helped as early as possible, and it's expensive. If one identical twin has ASD and there is a 60 to 96% chance that the other twin will also have it due to genetics being the root cause of ASD. The diagnostic gender gap, both research and presentation of ASD, has always been skewed by focusing on male subjects, which leaves many females undiagnosed because the way they present symptoms appear to be different from males. The diagnostic gender gap. Anthony Hopkins, Bill Gates, Emily Dickinson, and Albert Einstein are all famous people who have been diagnosed or thought to have ASD during their lives. These are famous peoples with ASD. Around 35% of the students with ASD in the US do not have a job or receive postgraduate education after graduating the school, having an unemployment. Only through continuous and steady effort can we foster a great understanding of the autism, and this will in turn lead to acceptance between people with and without ASD, and it leads to acceptance. So the week highlights the current barriers made by the community. Some public and private areas could be inaccessible or difficult to navigate for people with ASD due to something as simple as fixable as lighting. So World Autism Acceptance Week encourages and circulates information about ASD and what it is like to have with it. During this time, it is easier for people to talk about ASD and how it impacts how an individual sees the world and interacts with it. And with this, we shall conclude the commemorations of the day. With the last commemoration, today is also commemorated as National Viagra Day. As it is the same day, the US Food and Drug Administration, FDA, approved its use as an oral medication for erectile dysfunction, ED, on March 27th. It was the first non-invasive treatment for male impotence ever developed at the time. ED occurs when a man is unable to achieve an erection, maintain an erection, or ejaculate consistently. In the US, an estimated 30 million men experience this issue, and it can get worse as you age. Certain factors can contribute to it, such as heart conditions, other medications, diabetes, high blood pressure, neurological disorders, and anxiety. Not a lot of medications can predict their discovery as a result of a side effect. In 1989, British scientists working for Pfizer, Peter Dunn and Albert Wood, set out to create a drug to treat high blood pressure and angina. Unfortunately, sildenafil citrate early trials in the early 1900s proved unsuccessful in treating heart disease. However, a curious side effect was shared by the clinical trial volunteers. An increase in erections was reported typically within 30 to 60 minutes after taking the medication. It was then decided to be marketed instead as a drug to cure impotence. Pfizer's patent for sildenafil was approved in 1996. A mere 2 years later, on March 27, 1998, it was approved by the US FDA for the treatment of erectile dysfunction, the new clinical name for impotence. To say that Viagra was a roaring success in an understatement. Though it was available by prescription only, it was marketed on television to reach the masses, and it was offered over the internet as well. Customers were given free samples after filling in an online consultation form. Such direct-to-customer marketing for prescription drugs were unheard at that time. During the first quarter of its release, the little blue pill brought in a total revenue of $400 million. It went on to become the fastest drug ever to exceed $1 billion in annual sales. As more generic ED drugs have become available in recent years, Viagra's market share has shrunk. But there's no denying that it has certainly enhanced the lives of many men and women worldwide. Any medication needs enough time to be absorbed into your blood. It takes 30 minutes before the most men feel the effects of Viagra, and that's how you know whether it is working or not. The use of Viagra in healthy men does not show any erection or pleasure benefit and may be considered a health risk. So you can't take it for fun. It may increase blood flow to the genital area in females as well as heighten sensitivity in that area. So there is still little data to suggest it's safe and effective for females. So honor the male miracle pill by wearing its color from morning until night. Work out in a bright blue tank top. Dress up in a navy suit for work, or change into a blue and white striped house shirt, or put in a sky blue pair of pajamas to bed. Wear blue on this day. There are loads of these types of films, starring older men and younger women. Examples like Entrapment, Autumn in the New York, and As Good as It Gets, and all actors who are at least 20 years older than their leading ladies. A doctor should perform a physical exam and know your complete medical history before prescribing any medication. So use it under medical supervision. Source it from a licensed pharmacist only, as buying from alternative channels like the internet could yield fake or unsafe medications. Take the dose as prescribed at least 30 minutes before sexual activity and limit the use to one tablet a day, as take it as directed. And alcohol lowers blood pressure, which can cause dizziness and worsens erectile dysfunction. So, less alcohol intake can help you overcome erectile dysfunction. Sorry. Grapefruit or grape juice have substances that slow down the breakdown of uh, sildenafil in your body, increasing the risks of side effects. So, avoid grapefruit or grape juice when taking these. So it celebrates a happy accident. Viagra came about a surprising side effect of a medication meant for something else. This is a proof that things that start as accidents can result in unhappy endings. Most men don't like talking about their problems. After the advent of Viagra, men were able to discuss what was once an embracing frustration. This candidness could aid them in sharing more health concerns with their doctor. It's urged men to be more open about their health. This was marketed so heavily that it became a household name. It wasn't taboo to talk about things like sex or sexual dysfunction out in open anymore. It made talking about sex less shameful with this heavy advertisement. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining us on this wonderful commemorations for the day. So see you all tomorrow at the same time. Take care. Good night.